This Saturday night, a new form of all-star racing will take place to see who is truly the best of the best. Today on a special edition of Inside Lines, we preview the 2021 Camping World SRX Series and get you filled in with everything you need to know before we begin this 6-week Saturday night event at Stafford Speedway. And hello everyone, my name is Jet Kraus. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And like I said, this is a special preview of the 2021 Camping World SRX Series. We will go over everything you need to know, from the cars to the tracks to the drivers to the race format, to get you ready before the first race of the SRX this Saturday night at Stafford Motor Speedway, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. So without further ado, let's not waste any time and jump right into it. Let's start off first with the cars. Now, the cars is just like the IROC series. The SRX will field 12 of the exact same cars to ensure that no one has an advantage in terms of equipment and or engineering skill. Now, it was designed by one of the greatest crew chiefs of the modern NASCAR generation in Ray Evernham, and the car's chassis was designed and built by Fury Race Cars. Now, the design in terms of the idea of the car was to try and make it as little aerosensitive as possible. Equipped with an Ilmor V8 396 engines that is currently used for the ARCA Menard series, it will deliver 700 horsepower with 530 foot-pound torque. Inside the engine is Edelbrock Group's Comp Cams camshaft, push rods and rocker trunnions, and outside are Edelbrock Group's water pump, timing cover, and ignition coils. With its high rear spoiler, the SRX car offers a unique, slick, and overall cool look, similar to the look of a Ferrari F40. Like I said, this car is to be built with very little aero, or at least to be not as aerosensitive. With the high horsepower, low downforce, that's going to force drivers to really have to manhandle the cars, and overall it's going to put it more in the driver's hands to really see who is the best. Now let's move on to the drivers. Now, for example, IROC mainly was built of NASCAR drivers and only current racing drivers, either from NASCAR, IndyCar, or World of Outlaws, just to name a few. Well, the SRX is a combination of both past, present, and future. And in fact, the SRX lineup is comprised into 3 different categories: the full-time drivers, the cameo drivers, and the track champion drivers. Let's first take a look up at the 10 full-time drivers that will be competing for the SRX Championship. The 10 drivers offer a well-blended mixture of both, like I said, past and present, of some of the best drivers that come from, at least in this season, 3 different types of racing series: 4 from NASCAR, 4 from IndyCar, and 2 from the Trans Am division. Up first, Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. Bill Elliott, the 1988 champion of the NASCAR Cup Series. In his 37 years in NASCAR's top division, he has won 44 times with 55 pole positions. His most notable accomplishments was winning the Daytona 500 2 times in 1985 and 1997, the 2002 Brickyard 400 winner, a 3-time Southern 500 winner, and 16 consecutive Most Popular Driver awards, including 10 in a row from 1991 until 2000, and was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2015. Born in Corpus Christi, Texas, Bobby Labonte will pilot the number 18 car in the SRX. In his 25 years in NASCAR, all of his success came from driving the 18 Interstate Batteries car for Joe Gibbs Racing. He won the 2000 NASCAR Cup Series Championship with 26 pole positions and 21 wins. His very first win came in 1995 when he won the Coca-Cola 600 and also won the Brickyard 400 and Southern 500 during his championship year. Labonte is also one of 2 drivers competing in the SRX to be former IROC champions. He accomplished that feat back in 2001 and is also an inductee to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Michael Waltrip, the brother of 3-time NASCAR champion and Hall of Famer Darrell Waltrip. In his 33 years in NASCAR, he carried a record that no one really wanted. 462 races without a win was the record for longest drought without a win in NASCAR. However, he broke that streak in 2001 when he won the Daytona 500. He would do it again 2 years later in 2003. He also scored another 2 wins in the Cup Series, the 2002 Pepsi 400 at Daytona and the 2003 EA Sports 500 at Talladega. He won the 1996 NASCAR All-Star Race, is a 2-time Daytona Duel winner, and was a 1983 NASCAR Darlington Dash Series champion. Probably the most successful driver competing in the SRX is Tony Stewart. The 50-year-old from Columbus, Indiana has an incredible record, a 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, including 1 as a driver owner in 2011. 49 career wins and is the only driver in motorsports history to win a NASCAR and IndyCar championship. He's a 2005 and 2007 Brickyard 400 winner, the 1996 Indy 500 Rookie of the Year winner, the 2006 IROC champion, 1995 USAC Triple Crown champion. Again, this is just one of many accomplishments that Stewart has done over his career. He also has a very successful team in Stewart-Haas Racing, winning 65 races, including a championship with Kevin Harvick in 2014 and a Daytona 500 with Kurt Busch in 2017, and is also an inductee of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. On to IndyCar, we begin with one of 3 international drivers, Paul Tracy from Ontario, Canada. Although he barely competed in IndyCar, in fact he only had 20 starts, his success came in kart/champ car competition, winning 31 races, 74 podiums, and was the 2003 kart/champ car World Series champion, and finished second in his very first IndyCar race, the 2002 Indy 500. And what some people say that Tracy was robbed of a win due to a controversial caution, that person that beat him would be Helio Castroneves. And speaking of Helio Castroneves, he is probably the most popular driver in the SRX at the moment, because 2 weeks ago, he was on top of the world, winning his 4th Indianapolis 500, joining the legends of AJ Foyt, Al Unser, and Rick Mears to accomplish that feat. The Brazilian is known for his enthusiastic and outgoing personality, earning him the nickname Spider-Man for always climbing fences after winning a race. Including his 4 Indy 500 wins, he has won 25 IndyCar races in total, including finishing second in points 4 different times. But he does have a series championship in IMSA, driving for Team Penske in the DPI division last year, and this year he won the Rolex 24 at Daytona, also in DPI. Fellow Brazilian Tony Kanaan also has an Indy 500 championship to his belt, winning it back in 2013, and is also the 2004 series champion. Winner of 16 IndyCar races, he is also an overall winner in the 2015 Rolex 24 at Daytona. And finally, you cannot have a series regarding racing's all-stars and not have an Andretti in the field. Enter the grandson of the great Mario Andretti, Marco Andretti. The 34-year-old from Nazareth, Pennsylvania is a 2-time winner in IndyCar, but is famously known for nearly winning the Indy 500 as a rookie in 2006, before losing it at the last second to Sam Hornish Jr. in one of the closest finishes in Indy 500 history. He did sit on the pole for the big race in 2020 and is a 3-time winner in the Indy Lights series. On to Trans Am. Now, a guy that I am personally looking forward to see race is Willie T. Ribbs. At 66 years old, he is the oldest driver competing in the SRX, but broke down many barriers in motorsports for African Americans during his days competing in Trans Am in the 80s and 90s. In his 19 years in Trans Am, he won 9 times and earned 17 podiums. He was the 1983 Trans Am Rookie of the Year and became the first African American to test a Formula One car and compete in the Indianapolis 500 twice, in 1991 and in 1993. And finally, our 10th and final full-time driver who also comes from the Trans Am division is Ernie Francis Jr. At 23, he is the youngest driver in the SRX full-time by 11 years to the next youngest driver. But during his short time racing, he has already become one of the greats in Trans Am. In 9 years competing, he is already a 7-time consecutive Trans Am champion, becoming the youngest champion in history at just 16 years old. He has already won 65 races, over 100 podiums, 60 pole positions, and an astounding nearly 41% winning percentage of all Trans Am races he's competed in. Okay, so now you know the full-time drivers. Next up are the track ringers or the track champions. So let's say this for example. Let's say the SRX goes to Dover. Well, you want to pick the driver that is the best at that track. Who do you pick? You pick Jimmy Johnson. Most wins, most laps led, he's overall the best driver at that track. Well, that's what the SRX is doing. Every race that they will be competing this season, they're going to have a driver in a Rocky Balboa type car that's basically the best driver at that type of track. It's a really cool way to sort of help promote the local stars and give them some, give them a platform to showcase their skills against some of the best in all of racing. So here's a look at the 4 drivers that are going to be the SRX's track ringers in 2021. Doug Coby, a 6-time NASCAR Whelen Modified champion and a winner of 12 races at Stafford in 58 starts. At Knoxville Raceway, you got Brian Brown, a winner of 69 wins at Knoxville and 4 Knoxville 410 track championships. For Eldora, you got Cody Swanson, a 5-time USAC Silver Crown winner and won 21 wins in 5 years. And for Lucas Oil Raceway, you got Bobby Santos III, the 2020 Little 500 champion, a former USAC race winner, and the 2010 NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour champion. Now you notice there is not a 5th or 6th driver. Well, for the Slinger event, race number 5, what's interesting about this is that this will take place 2 days after the Slinger 300. And a special little promotion that the SRX is doing is that whoever wins the Slinger 300 will get an invitation to compete in the SRX, which takes place, I believe, 2 or 3 days after the Slinger 300. So again, it's a nice little way to help promote the local stars and give them a platform to showcase their skills. As for Nashville Fairgrounds, the final race, there will be a special guest that will be participating at that track that will be announced race weekend. And finally, we got our cameo drivers. These are special drivers that are going to make either a 1 or 2 race appearance. 4 of them, just like with the track ringers, we've got 4 drivers. Up first, Greg Biffle and his famous number 69. It's a very nice number. The 2000 Xfinity Series and 2002 Truck Series champion, alongside with his 2 Southern 500 wins, will compete in 2 races this Saturday at Stafford and at Slinger Speedway. Up next is Scott Bloomquist, who will compete in Knoxville Raceway. He is the winner of 94 Lucas Oil late model races and a winner of 33 World of Outlaws races. Alongside him, making her only one-off appearance in the SRX at Knoxville, will be Hailie Deegan, who is arguably one of the most anticipated drivers in NASCAR today, a 3-time ARCA Menard Series West winner who has a lot of experience on dirt, so it makes sense to make her one-off appearance at Knoxville. And finally, former Formula 1 and NASCAR driver who will also compete in the SRX, known for his success in Rallycross, being a 3-time Global Rallycross champion and the 2019 America's Rallycross champion, that will be Scott Speed, who will compete 1 race on dirt at Eldora and another race on pavement at Lucas Oil Raceway. So yeah, those are the drivers, from full-time drivers to, track champions to the cameo drivers. Again, no announcement regarding the Nashville race week in terms of who's going to be the track champion or the special guest. That will be announced on race weekend, which will be on the weekend of July 17th. All right, so now we got the cars, we now got the drivers. But what about the tracks? Now again, with IROC, we're going to compare a lot of it to IROC. With the IROC series, they competed on the big tracks: Daytona, Talladega, Texas, Atlanta, Michigan, just to name a few. They competed on a lot, especially during the turn of the 21st century. They competed on a lot of big NASCAR racetracks. Well, the SRX does the complete opposite. They're going to go back to their roots and compete on the dirt and half-mile or 0.6-mile short tracks. That is basically the bread and butter of racing in America. So let's take a look at the 6 races that will be part of the 2021 SRX schedule. The first race of the SRX schedule goes to Stafford Motor Speedway, home of the SK Modifieds. Located in Stafford Springs, Connecticut, it was built in the 1870s for originally horse racing. It was paved in 1967, with turns 1 and 2 having 9-degree banking, and 3 and 4 only a slim 7.5 degrees in banking. 1,200 miles from Stafford is the next stop in the SRX, one of the most famous dirt tracks in America, Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa. Home of the Knoxville Nationals beginning in 1961, made of black zoo clay, the half-mile track has wide straights with 8-degree banking in both turns. The third race of the schedule goes to the most famous track though in dirt, and that goes to Rossburg, Ohio's Eldora Speedway, currently owned by NASCAR Hall of Famer Tony Stewart. Built in 1954 by Earl Baltes, the track has been raced on by legends such as Gordon, Andretti, and Unser. The half-mile dirt oval is very banked with 24-degree corners and 8-degree banked straightaways. It has hosted numerous racing events, including 7 NASCAR truck races from 2013 to 2019. 120 miles southwest of Eldora sits the 4th race on the schedule, Lucas Oil Raceway. First opened in 1960 as a dirt track, the now 0.6-mile paved oval has hosted 29 NASCAR Xfinity races and 16 truck races with 12-degree bank corners. It is currently home to the ARCA Menard Series. The penultimate race of the season moves to Slinger Speedway in Wisconsin. Opened in 1948 and was a clay track until 1974 with a whopping 34-degree bank turns. It's home of the Slinger Nationals. And a cool little bonus, the winner of the Slinger 300, which takes place 2 days before the SRX competes, will get a free invitation to race on Saturday night. And finally, we go to Nashville, Tennessee for the final race of the 2021 SRX schedule, Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Built in 1904, originally used for horseless carriages and motorcycles, it has hosted the NASCAR Cup Series from 1958 until 1984, as well as the Xfinity and truck races from 1984 until 2000. The quarter-of-a-mile oval has 18-degree bank turns and has been in the news as of late as a possibility of a return to NASCAR in the near future. And finally, let's take a look at the format, the points format, the heat format, as well as the feature format. How will everything take place once we get to go racing? Let's first start off on how we qualify for the feature. It'll be broke up into 2 different heat races. Heat race number 1 is a timed race, 15 minutes. When the time is up, the leader will be shown the white flag signifying 1 lap remaining. All drivers will draw for their cars to start this heat, and the field is lined up by a random draw. Heat race number 2, same thing, 15 minutes. When the time is up, leader is shown the white flag signifying 1 lap remaining. Drivers finishing position in heat race number 1 will be inverted for the start of heat race number 2. And for the feature format, also pretty simple. Races are planned to last 90 minutes without pit stops, though there is also planned to be a halftime break for adjustments to be made to their car. Every feature race except for Slinger, which is 150 laps, will be 100 laps long. The starting order is based on the results of the second heat race. There will also be unlimited attempts at a green-white checker. Pretty simple, right? Also, what's simple is their points format. For the heat points format, if you finish first, you get 12 points. If you finish 12th, you get 1 point. Really self-explanatory. It's really not that hard. For the feature race format, you double that, except for the race winner. The race winner gets double the amount of points that they would have earned in the heat race, plus 1. So let's say this, for example, if you finish first in both heat races and you win the feature, you get a nice 49 points added to your name after the first event. First place will get 25 points, 12th place just gets 2 points. Again, if you want to figure out the feature points format, you just multiply the heat points format by 2 and give 1 extra point to the winner of the feature. And yeah, that is it. That is everything you need to know with the SRX. I don't know about y'all, but I am very excited for the SRX. I'm not gonna be able to see the first race at Stafford, but I will try to see all the other races for future events because I am really excited. Really cool to see at least my form of IROC, because when I grew up, I was not able to watch IROC. You know, when I started watching racing, it was well after IROC had ended. So to be able to now see a different form of IROC, you know, with the superstars, you got Bill Elliott, Castro Neves, Labonte, you have all these cool different names, drivers from different backgrounds coming together to race, to see who's really the best. It's gonna be really, really fun to see. But yeah, I'm excited. Are you excited? Tell me in the comment section down below. But until next time, my name is Jett from MDK, and I'll see y'all next time.